A king is killed by a stranger on the road, and a riddle solver marries a queen. Only later does Oedipus learn the stranger was his father, and the queen his mother. That ancient shock became the story that first gripped Sigmund Freud's imagination. He saw in it a metaphor for hidden wishes, rivalries, and loyalties inside families. Freud proposed the Oedipus complex as a map of early emotional conflict. Children, he claimed, experience desire for one parent and rivalry with the other. This is not literal intent or conscious plan. It is symbolic pressure and feeling. It names a drama the child does not choose, yet still must navigate. The idea matters because early navigation can echo in adult love and work. It matters because authority, intimacy, and identity grow from those early negotiations. Let's approach the theory sensitively and in plain language. For Freud, the child's first love is the caregiver who feels like the world. The rival is whoever divides that world or sets the rules. From that triangle, patterns of seeking, competing, and obeying can take shape. Some patterns help, others narrow, and most can be updated across life. We'll explore 3 dimensions that make this theory more usable than shocking. First love and rivalry as a template for later relationships. Second, the internalization of authority into conscience, the beginnings of a superego. Third, cultural symbolism, where taboos organize families and keep chaos at bay. Begin with the template of first love and rivalry. Picture a child clinging to a parent at the door, hot with wanting attention. The other parent, or another adult, becomes the obstacle and the teacher. The child learns how to ask, how to wait, and how to share. Admiration mixes with jealousy. Closeness learns to coexist with limits. These early lessons can become default settings for adult love. Someone who felt overlooked may chase dramatic partners who keep them guessing. Someone who felt adored may struggle when admiration is not constant. Someone who felt torn between loyalty and independence may repeat that tug of war. These are patterns, not destiny, and they can be revised. Now the second dimension, internalizing authority. As the child grows, outer no becomes inner no. Rules, praise, and punishment are taken inside and start to speak as conscience. Freud called the result the superego, a watchful inner authority. At best, this becomes guidance that protects values and relationships. At worst, it becomes a harsh judge that humiliates and freezes initiative. Strong early rivalries can fuel intense guilt or grandstanding in adulthood. Authority is no longer only outside, it is part of the self. That is why saying, "I should," can feel like both love and pressure. A balanced conscience points forward without crushing curiosity. Now the third dimension, cultural symbolism and taboo. Families live inside cultures that define what is allowed and forbidden. Taboos regulate closeness and distance, and they guard against confusion and harm. Freud saw Oedipus as a myth about boundaries that keep families workable. Whether or not his universal claims hold, the symbolic function is clear. Societies use stories to teach where to stand and how to care. Freud gave the bold first sketch, and others responded with revisions. Carl Jung proposed an Electra complex as a variant, though many find it outdated. Modern scholars critique the whole theory as narrow and culturally biased. Anthropologists question whether one triangle can explain diverse kinship systems. Feminist thinkers note the gender assumptions baked into the earliest texts. Many psychologists emphasize blended families, same-sex parents, and grandparent caregivers. Human development is more varied than a single script can capture. Yet even critics often salvage a core insight. Early attachments and rivalries shape how we navigate love and authority. They influence how we seek attention, handle jealousy, and respond to rules. They teach us how to be chosen without destroying trust. They teach us how to lose without losing ourselves. A historical vignette shows how Freud applied the theme. He analyzed little Hans, a boy who feared horses on the street. Freud interpreted the horse as a stand-in for the father's power and threat. The fear, he argued, masked love and rivalry the child could not name. Historians note that Hans's father collected the observations and likely influenced the story. Even so, the case framed phobia as conflict, not just accident. Its legacy is the search for meaning in symptoms, however imperfect the lens. Now a modern vignette with no mystique, just daily life. A talented professional freezes around older bosses, avoiding eye contact in reviews. They produce excellent work, yet crumble when authority enters the room. Later, they notice the boss's tone echoes a parent's icy disappointment. The past is not the present, but the body does not always know that. Naming the echo helps them test new responses, not just repeat fear. They prepare, ask clarifying questions, and request concrete goals. Authority becomes human again rather than a thundercloud. Applications should be respectful and simple. Reflect on family dynamics that still shape your choices. Notice repetitive patterns in attraction, jealousy, or conflict. Ask whether a partner feels familiar because they feel safe or because they feel like home is old drama. Practice distinguishing echoes from present reality in tense moments. Say to yourself, "This is now, not then," while choosing a small, constructive action. Remember that repeating is common, revising is possible. Let's list common mistakes so we can avoid them. One mistake is reducing all love to Oedipal drama with clever labels. Another is pathologizing normal childhood crushes, curiosity, or boundary testing. A third is using the theory to justify domination or shame. A good use is gentler. It helps us ask where a feeling learned its lines. Counterpoints deserve clear airtime. The Oedipus story is not a universal template for all families. Gendered assumptions in early psychoanalysis have been rightly challenged. Many problems come from stress, poverty, trauma, or biology, not mythic triangles. Attachment research, family systems, and social context add crucial depth. Still, the metaphor can help when it stays a metaphor. It can guide questions without claiming to be final answers. Think of the family as a stage where we learn our first roles. We practice how to enter a scene, share a spotlight, and exit gracefully. We memorize lines about love and power and who we are allowed to be. Later, we walk onto new stages carrying those lines inside. Some lines fit, some lines no longer serve the plot we want. Rewriting requires noticing which lines still run us when stress spikes. Rewriting requires patience with the self who learned them for good reasons. Freud was wrong in places and brilliant in others. He turned shame into language and conflict into a story we could discuss. His followers, critics, and rivals added nuance we now depend on. Your task is to choose what helps and release what harms. Ask which family script you still act out without noticing. Ask which role you can update so the story feels truer now. Ask how love and authority can coexist without repeating old pain. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We do not choose our first script, but we can choose how we play it next.